Every day life's happening. Some days are more eventful. Others, living protected with insurance you can depend on changes your life for the better. We insure the people and things you care about. Not Agency. We'll help you find the right coverage so when life happens, you have the right insurance protection for your family and business. When life happens, live protected. Non-agency for all your insurance needs.
Good morning and welcome to Radio Friends on Tuesday, January the 26th. I've got Joan Stack with us today from the State Historical Society, and here's a lady that I love having on because you are so full of information. I can kind of just sit back and listen to you. You're like a walking encyclopedia.
Well, I don't know what to say to that.
You are. You're like a walking encyclopedia. And we're going to do a series of segments with you, the next 2 or 3, dealing with Black History Month.
That's right. Yes. And today I want to talk about what the State Historical Society of Missouri will be doing in conjunction with Black History Month, which I think we've got some exciting things going on. Directly related to me are 2 exhibits that are actually not in the State Historical Society of Missouri, but elsewhere on the University of Missouri campus.
Okay.
One will be in Jesse Hall. So if you happen to go to one of the many wonderful concerts at Jesse Hall, please stop by and look at the case that's right there at the entrance to the auditorium. And we will have 2 Black artists, works by 2 Black artists who both attended the University of Missouri. One of those artists is Byron Smith, who is a wonderful painter. Mm-hmm. His family has lived for generations in this area, and this year the theme of Black History Month is Rites and Sites of Black Memory. And so for Byron, he's very much talking about his family's memory, his memories in connection with this place, this mid-Missouri place. And some of that is positive, but, there are the issue of slavery and there's this long history. Then we're also going to have the work of Ali Helani, and he is a very interesting artist because he is somebody who came to Missouri from Somalia. Some time ago, I'm not sure whether it was the 70s or 80s, but he came from Africa and made his home in Missouri and built his family here, but he, of course, remembers his African heritage. So he does these wonderful ceramics, and some of it makes reference to that past and that lost past in some ways. So you're going to get 2 very different perspectives on being here in Missouri, the kind of concept of Black memory, both Black memory here in the United States, in Missouri, but also the memory of Africa, that heritage as well. So I think it'll be a really nice exhibit.
And this will be on display in the big case
outside of the auditorium at Jesse.
In the lobby of Jesse Auditorium. How long is it there now?
No, it's going to be from the beginning of February. So we're right at the end of January. So
it'll be there the entire month of February?
Yes. So that's one exhibit we're putting together. We're also putting together an exhibit that's more photographs and documents in Ellis Library, in the colonnade there. And that exhibit will deal with the history of Black history here in Columbia, the Sharp End neighborhood, the Douglas neighborhood, and the long history of those places. We're going to have photographs, we'll have some maps, some different things that help us to understand that history. And in conjunction with that, some people may know Rudi Keller, the reporter for the Tribune. He did a big piece on the Sharp End neighborhood when they put up a recent commemorative plaque.
I remember reading about it.
That's right.
I remember reading about that.
And Rudi is going to come and talk about reporting and researching the neighborhood. He will be speaking at the State Historical Society of Missouri.
Now, the neighborhood was called?
The Sharp End Business District.
Sharp End.
And that's the business district. I sometimes get that mixed up. That's the business district where all the Black businesses were. And unfortunately, during part of urban renewal, that neighborhood was virtually decimated, that business district. So that some of them were not in the best, there were problems with some of the infrastructure. But what happened by taking it away is that kind of unity of the neighborhood was
Fell apart.
destroyed.
Yeah.
And Rudi really looked into that, and there's a lot of other people who are really interested in that heritage. And then associated with it is the Douglas neighborhood, the area around Douglas School, and the different areas where a lot of African Americans lived in Columbia. So we'll have some images of that.
And this will be at Ellis Library.
This will be at Ellis Library throughout Black History Month in the Colonnade. There are 2 large cases in the Colonnade, and we'll have all of that material on display. And Rudi's talk will be February 15th, Monday, February 15th, at the State Historical Society in our art gallery. So downstairs at Ellis Library, ground floor, at 5:30. And we'll have light refreshments, and Rudi will talk on his experiences, his research related to Chardonnay.
And this is open to the public.
This is all free and open to the public.
And you know what's so wonderful about this is that we have a chance to get together, look at history, and realize how important history is, and we learn from history.
And we can make some connections with what's, where we've been and where we're going, which is what I hope we can do with some of these exhibits. The thing that I'm doing a couple of other things related to this. On February 1st, I'm actually going to be giving a talk on Black history as represented in the state capital of Missouri. So I'm going to be talking about the way African American history is either present or absent in a lot of the mural decorations in the state capitol. And what I think is very interesting is the early mural decorations from the 1920s. Black people are virtually invisible, as though they didn't even exist in Missouri. It's very hard
in the 20s.
In the 20s, and of course they're very much a part of our history in the 20s, but they don't appear in the mural cycles, and there's lots of murals. And then in 1936, when Thomas Hart Benton comes to the Capitol and does his social history of Missouri, he includes a large number of Black figures in that mural. And that mural was very controversial for a number of reasons, but one reason was because of his representation of Black history, of his representation of slavery as very much integrated into the history of Missouri, and his representation of Black figures, very heroic working people in Missouri. And I think that made some people uncomfortable. And so I'll be talking a little bit about the controversies that surrounded the mural at the time, and how that might relate to both white experience of Black history and also Missourians coming into their capital and not seeing themselves represented.
When will this be?
I will be doing that on February 1st. That is also at 5:30 at the State Historical Society of Missouri's Art Gallery. And that will be the start of our Benton Week.
All right. And then we will be dealing with Black History Month throughout the month of February on Radio Friend. Joan Stack, thank you.
Oh, well, thank you.
Pleasure having you here. Joan Stack from the State Historical Society. Tomorrow, we're going to visit with the Salvation Army, find out how they did with the fundraising for the Christmas season. Program directed by Travis McMillan, Reynolds Journalism Institute. Audio, Pat Akers, KBIA. Our floor director is Kevin Casson, and our assistant producer and guest coordinator, Uncle James Mauser. Bye-bye.